Hello students, welcome you all in the lecture series of Classical Mechanics. Myself Dr. Anubala, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mathematics, Multani Malmudi College, Patiala. In today's video, we will discuss about the motion of material bodies and the relationship of coordinates and time with the forces operating upon one particle, that is mechanics of a single particle. In the development of the mechanics, Newton introduced three laws of motion. These Newton's laws form the core of the classical mechanics. These laws are essentially based upon different observations on the earth carried over centuries. And these laws have been successfully used to explain various astronomical and terrestrial phenomena of motion of bodies. These Newton's laws form the core of the classical mechanics. For the classical mechanics, there are some basic notations which we will use. Let r be the radius vector of a particle from some given origin, and v is its velocity vector. R and V both are the bold-faced. Bold-faced letters denote the vector quantities. We can put arrow on the head of the letters or we can bold them. In this video, I have bolded all the letters which are in the vector form. Here V is equals to dr upon dt. Velocity is the rate of change of distance. T is here time. With respect to time, what is the change in r? That is called the velocity vector. R is the radius vector and V is the velocity vector. Both are vector quantities, therefore they are the bold-faced. Second basic notation is for the linear momentum. Linear momentum is denoted by P. Linear momentum of any particle is defined as the product of the particle mass and its velocity. Mass is some scalar quantity and it's constant for most of the bodies. And P is a vector quantity, linear momentum. V is the velocity vector. P and V both are the vector quantities. The Newton's laws form the core of classical mechanics, as I have already discussed. Newton gave three laws of motion. Its first law of motion describes that a body continues in a state of rest or of uniform motion in a straight line unless it is compelled to change that state by force impressed upon it. Means it defines the law of inertia. According to Newton's second law of motion, the rate of change of momentum, that is dp upon dt, it is directly proportional to the impressed force and is in the direction in which the force acts. The mechanics of a particle is contained in the Newton's second law of motion. Mathematically, we can say that F is equal to dp upon dt. Again here, F and P, F is for the force and P is for the linear momentum. They both are the vector quantities. If we take P is equal to m into V, as we have discussed earlier, linear momentum is equal to mass into velocity. So we will put P is equal to m into V. If we assume that mass is constant for that particular body, then we can take as a constant outside from the derivative and we can write it as m into dv upon dt. This dv upon dt, rate of change of velocity, is also known as the acceleration. Therefore, F is equal to m into a. Force is equal to product of the mass into the acceleration. It is described by the Newton's second law of motion. Now the Newton's third law of motion. According to Newton's third law of motion, to every action, there is always a reaction which is equal in magnitude but opposite in direction to the action. Action means the force due to say body 1 on the body 2 and may be expressed as F12. And the reaction is from the second body. Reaction is from the second body on the body 1 and it may be expressed as the force F21. Now Newton's third law, it can be mathematically expressed as F12 is equal to minus F21 means the magnitude of both the forces are equal, but they are opposite in direction. This is all described by the Newton's third law of motion. Now we will discuss some dynamical concepts which are very important for the conservation theorems. First is the linear momentum. Linear momentum P of a mass moving with velocity v is given by P is equals to m into v. Angular momentum. Angular momentum, it is applied in the case of a point mass which revolves around an axis or an extended body rotating around an axis passing through the body itself. The angular momentum is denoted by capital L. If the mass point is m, which revolves around an axis, then angular momentum will be defined by L is equal to R into P. Angular momentum is cross product. Here it is very important what we are taking, the dot product or cross product, because L is the angular momentum. Therefore, we are taking the cross product here. From the mathematics background, we know that cross product is always a vector quantity. Now, cross product of the radius vector and the linear momentum will give the angular momentum. Next is the torque. Torque, what is torque? Torque is the moment of force or torque about any point will be defined as N is equal to R cross F. It is the cross product of radius vector and force acting upon it. Torque can also be defined by the symbol tau or capital N. If we take the relationship of the angular momentum, L is equal to R cross P, by differentiating on both sides, and this is the relationship, by differentiating on both sides with respect to t, on the left hand side we will get dl by dt, and on the right hand side we apply product rule. According to product rule, if we are having two functions, then first function as it is, derivative of the second function, plus derivative of first function into second function as it is. We will not change the position of the functions. Their stage remains because cross product is not commutative in nature. A cross B is not equal to B cross A. So we will not change the position of the functions. Now for the second term, this dr by dt cross P, it can be written as dr by dt cross P is what? P is the linear momentum. It can be written as mass into velocity, m into v. Again in turn, this v, velocity vector, can be written as the rate of change of the radius vector, that is dr by dt. Therefore, we replace the value of p by m into dr by dt. Now, in the mathematics, we know that cross product of two similar vectors is always equal to 0. If we are having any vector A vector, then A cross A is 0. Now we are having two vectors dr by dt and again dr by dt. Cross product of these two vectors, it should be equal to 0. Therefore, this second term will vanish. We are staying with only the first term. So we can say that dl by dt, it is equals to r cross dp by dt. Now r cross this dp by dt, rate of change of the linear momentum, it will be equal to F. Force is what? According to Newton's second law. According to Newton's second law, force is equal to rate of change of momentum. So this rate of change of linear momentum, it is replaced by the force acting on it. Now r cross F, it is again equal to torque. Torque, definition of torque says this cross product of the radius vector and force is equal to torque. So in this slide, we have proved that this dl by dt, it's equals to torque, or we can say that rate of change of angular momentum is equal to torque. Next is the work. What is work? Work is the dot product. Work is the dot product of the force and displacement. Suppose we want to do work from a point R1 to R2, then integration of dw is w, or this dw can be written as the f dot dr, dot product of the force and the displacement. Energy associated with any body, it is the capacity to do work. Capacity of any body to do work is called as the energy. Energy may be defined into two categories. One is the kinetic energy and second one is the potential energy. Kinetic energy is due to its motion, potential energy is due to its position. Conservation theorem of the linear momentum of particle. In this video, we will discuss three conservation theorem. First conservation theorem is for the linear momentum. According to Newton's second law, we know that F is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. If we say this total force is 0, so we can say that this dp upon dt is equal to 0. Now, if the derivative of any function is equal to 0, we say that that function is equal to constant. So from this relation, we can say that this p is equal to constant. P is what? It is the linear momentum. P is equal to constant means this linear momentum is conserved. This is about the conservation theorem of the linear momentum, which is derived from the Newton's second law of motion. Second is the conservation theorem for the angular momentum of a particle. If we say total torque is 0, total torque n. In the last slide, in the previous slide, we have discussed this torque is directly proportional to the rate of change of the angular momentum. If n is 0, torque is 0, so we can say that this rate of change of the angular momentum is 0. If dl by dt is equal to 0, it means L is some constant, means angular momentum is conserved. So we can say that this conservation theorem for the angular momentum is derived from the torque relation. Third one is the energy conservation theorem. If the forces acting on a particle are conservative, then the total energy of the particle T plus V is conserved. Here T is the kinetic energy and V is the potential energy. Sum of potential energy and kinetic energy, that is conserved. For preparing this video, I have referred the book Classical Mechanics by Herbert Goldstein, Charles P. Poulet and John Sefko. Thank you for viewing this video.